Regardless of your side of the political fence, where your ideology lay, it is a sad day when anyone of the family of people that make up the United States government dies. And that's certainly true for Court Justice Antonin Scalia of the Supreme Court. Justice Scalia was the first Italian-American appointed to the Supreme Court by Ronald Reagan in 1986. Prior to that, starting in 1982, he served on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. As far back as anyone can remember, all the way back to when he was 17 years old, he was always a conservative mind. In fact, someone said at 17 that boy was conservative before he knew what it meant to be conservative. And I'm quoting, paraphrasing. But by the time he arrived at the Supreme Court in 1986, and for the subsequent years, Scalia was a staunch, consistent, unwavering conservative voice. His most notable entries, his most notable intellectual contributions were in the areas of, first of all, states' rights, and then opposition to minority power. He felt that it was inappropriate to give special consideration to minorities and women. And he thought considerably, exclusively along those lines throughout his entire time on the Supreme Court. But he was also known for Bush versus Gore. And for those of you who weren't around in 2000, that was a time when it seemed like the United States could very well unravel. Because of faulty counts and a number of other occurrences, we didn't know after the election who our president was. And it was left to the Supreme Court to decide. But rather than call for a new election, the Supreme Court essentially voted President Bush into office. A 7-2 vote. And later, Scalia said, look, we made our decision. It's done. It's old news. Get over it. Boy, I still rue that to this day. That was not how it should have been handled. But Scalia's position was this. Look, and he's right. We were the laughing stock of the world. We couldn't select the president. Here we are, the largest democracy in the country, the most powerful nation in the world, and we couldn't get it right selecting our next president of the United States. So the Supreme Court took it upon itself to basically right things. No pun intended, although the pun would be appropriate in this instance because that's exactly what happened. Scalia will be known as well for, even though he was conservative, that little part that said, hey, for those who were victims of abuse, he gave special consideration and power to them. But aside from that, he remained staunchly conservative. He died in his sleep February 12th, reportedly after a day of quail hunting in Texas. And now his departure leaves a evenly divided Supreme Court and a wonderful opportunity for President Obama to make a new appointment. And he said he's exactly going to do just that. In my next video, I'll talk about who that person should be that he appoints. You're going to love it.